Afakabo Akatu. This is Daku, and today I want to take you through the Fort Hood killer story. But I don't want to take you through the Fort Hood killer story from a Eurocentric perspective, from a pink people perspective. I want to take you through the Fort Hood killer story from a black perspective, an African-centered perspective. Now, for those of you that don't remember, Nadal Hassan, that was an army major, killed 13 of his fellow army personnel and injured 31 others. He killed 13, injured 31 others. I want to read you this story, and I've highlighted certain sentences. We want to stay away from the Eurocentric perspective of this story. So I'm going to read the story, and as I do, I want to give you some commentary. I want to compare this story with our story. Now, much of what I'm going to read is from the perspective of the prosecuting attorney. These are his words, or her words. So let's begin. It says, Nadal Hassan left tragic and devastating loss for victims and loved ones. Nadal was convicted for premeditated murders and injuring others during the massacre. Those murderous attacks left enormous carnage. Their loss, each family, tragic and difficult and different. For some, death was almost instantaneous. Let me stop right there. As I'm reading this article, I'm remembering something that I read about a people down in South America, in which they were fighting the white man to the death. And they got the high ground and were up in the mountains. But rather than be taken by the white man, they jumped off the damn mountain. I'm pretty sure their death was almost instantaneous. Now, to put that in perspective, remember 9/11. And we keep talking about choices. Black people don't make good choices. When you look at 9/11, the people that were on the upper levels of the World Trade Center, some of them had two choices. Either stay in the building and burn up, or jump out of the building to their death. That's a hell of a fucking choice. Well, these people in South America had the same type of choice. It was either allow yourself to get captured by the beast or jump off the side of the mountain. Many of them chose to jump off the side of the mountain. Many of our ancestors, many of our mothers, rather than allow their children to be taken by this beast, murdered their own child. Many of our brothers that were brought over on the slave ships jumped off the side of the slave ship into shark-infested waters than to stay enslaved. That was their choice. Now remember, we just said, for some, death was almost instantaneous. Some of our people, death was not instantaneous. Can you imagine getting eaten by a shark? And can you imagine the shark first eating your foot, then your leg, then your other leg, then your torso, and you still alive? A slow, painful death. But they would rather take their own lives in such a devastating way than to be captured or recaptured by the goddamn white man. Alright, let me go on with the story now. Hassan has previously said that he was a soldier of Allah. His attack was designed to protect Muslim insurgents abroad. Those of you that work for the white man, those of you that consider yourselves spooks that sat by the door, Hassan was a spook that sat by the door for his fellow Muslims. What level of spookism, if you will, if I can use that term, are you willing to do? Now, I'm not saying to go out and do what Hassan did, race book, and whose tube is it? I'm asking the question, what level of spookism are you willing to go to protect your family abroad? But let me go on with the story. He is a criminal, according to this attorney. He is a cold-blooded murderer. He did not leave this world, this earth. He remained to pay a price. He remained to pay a debt. The debt he owes is his life. Now, we can say the same thing about the goddamn white man. That's what we can say. If you think about it, that's probably what you will say. When you think about the devastating history of our interaction with the white man, you'll probably say that he did not leave this earth. He remained to pay a price. He remained to pay a debt. The debt he owes is his life. The article goes on to say that history is replete with death in the name of religion. He said, you should not punish him for his hate. You should punish him for his hate. You should punish him for the action he took in the name of his religion, not for his religion. Prosecutors rested witness testimony with a string of victims and loved ones of those killed in the shooting massacre, tearfully talking about the fallout on their lives. How many countless generations have we lost at the hands of the white man? Where are those of our ancestors? Are they here to tearfully talk about the fallout on their lives? Or did they have to take that to the grave and pass it down to future generations genetically? It says a death sentence would require a unanimous verdict. It says at minimum, Hassan faces life in prison. So from a black perspective, the question is the white man going to get a unanimous verdict of guilty? And at minimum, what should his sentence be? You need to ask yourself that. So I just wanted to read this article from a black perspective, not from a Eurocentric perspective, so that you can begin to think about all these articles that you read, really, not from a Eurocentric perspective, but from a black power, black supremacy, black conscious perspective. This has been Daku Akabo wa Akatu.